with Lady She podcast. I'm your host, Lady She. Tonight is going to be awesome. Like when I tell you just how my day went, sometimes people say how your morning starts is how the rest of your day will go. I'm going to say my morning was good, my afternoon was good, and it just made me more excited about my evening to spend with this beautiful young lady here. I need you guys to tag someone, share this live, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you're checking out this particular episode with my special guest, Miss Yolanda Garner Hutcherson of Hempstead, New York. I'm just going to let her start running down all the titles because she got comma after comma after comma, honey. No. But welcome to Hot Mic.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm excited. Okay, I'm excited. I mean, I gave her a little rundown of what we would tap into. I'm not going to keep her here forever because I know she has so many jewels to share with us. But you guys are going to have to follow her. We'll give you her information before we close out. But you want to tap into what this woman is doing right now. Like when I say God be knowing, I'm going to have to make that a t-shirt. Don't nobody steal it. Because God be knowing. I'm going to have to make that a shirt. When I say God be knowing, he be knowing. It's divine connections. It's the town. It's these hard conversations that it seems people struggle with having. And we ready to tap in, y'all. So share, like, send to somebody who you think will be blessed on tonight, and let's go.
Let's go.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
You good?
Yes.
See, I think it's gonna be a good time because she's not nervous. I don't have to pull on her.
Okay.
She's kind of ready. This is her zone. So
yes.
This is gonna be good. She's gonna pull me out of my zone for that much. How about that? So just to begin, I ask you, who's Yolanda Garner Hutcherson? What comes to mind?
Oh, she is the friend that you never thought you have. The friend, the nurturer, the encourager. Oh my goodness, I love to encourage people. I'm telling you, I just love that. I'm typically like the person like you have some friends like you have friends like I don't like that person. I like that person. I'm always like the person that everybody likes me and I love everybody.
Yeah, we need that.
We need that. We need positive. Listen, I'm all about the positivity. I'm all about positive vibes. So many things with me. I'm a daughter. I'm a mom. I'm a social worker. I'm a wife. Yeah. I'm a wife. Oh my goodness. I am a co-worker. I am a leader. I have been a follow too. Listen, I know how to follow.
Come on, sir.
I know how to learn.
Yes.
I know how to learn something. So that's it. It's a couple of things with me. That's it. I'm moving through life.
Oh, all right.
It's a journey. I'm
yes.
moving through life. Yes.
Gotcha. So I'm just gonna adjust the camera just a little bit because I see us.
Okay.
Y'all hang tight with me for a second. We're gonna handle this real quick.
Okay. Y'all hang tight. Do you have me? You have yourself in there?
I believe so. All right.
Can you see yourself?
I don't think I can see me. Okay, I done
messed
up me.
Yeah, you done cut out your own show. Hold on a minute.
Oh,
y'all hold tight.
Y'all hold tight. I done chopped me all the way
That's
out.
right. Hold on.
Okay, let me move it closer this way.
We do want Lady She in the video. Absolutely. Yes.
Sure. All right. Did I do anything?
You completely well, I'm looking at here. You completely cut yourself. Yeah, you completely.
All right.
Y'all hold tight.
Y'all hold tight for a second.
More coming. I would sing, but I don't know how to sing, so I cannot entertain you. While we're waiting here.
I can't tell if we're straight. It's looking like here.
Okay.
We're not. All right. That should be it.
That looks good.
Are we good?
I think we good.
I think we are good now. Okay.
We good.
All right. Okay, so let me do this also. If you're gonna be on the YouTube channel, I can absolutely see your comments. So if you have a question for Yolanda, you can absolutely ask it. I cannot guarantee we're gonna get to it, but we see you. And once again, when we give you her information, you can reach out to her with whatever questions that you do have. Yeah. Thank you so much for your patience, and we're gonna tap back in. So, Yolanda, the encourager, the friend that you never thought you needed. I love that.
Yes.
So, tap in a little bit to your childhood. What was like the dynamics of your household growing up?
Sure. I grew up in a 2-parent household, not a large family because both of my mom and my dad came from huge families. And I guess they both vow like we're not having a bunch of kids and they know mouths to feed. My mom comes from a family of 15.
Wow.
And my dad comes from a family of 10.
I love that.
So these are both, down south families. You got a whole army going on. And
Down
so,
south where?
My mom is from Danville, Virginia.
Not Danville.
Yeah,
I gotta say it that way because my shout out to my roommate from college, Norfolk State NSU baby. She was from Danville.
Oh, see,
it's a small town.
Yeah, it's a small town.
It's very small.
Very small. It's like a little. Yeah, and then my dad is from Garrisburg, North Carolina. That's an even smaller town.
Wow.
Than my mom is where my mom is from. So
look at that
large family. So my family it's just me. It was my mom, my dad, and my brother. It was just 4 of us. And
so we keep it simple.
We keep it simple. Yeah, we didn't try to feed everybody. They knew the struggle with buying clothes, trying to get feed and clothe everybody and feed
downs.
Ooh, yeah. My parents would always complain about that.
So
that's it. I grew up here in Long Island, in Hempstead, Long Island.
Whoop whoop. Tea for life.
My parents have worked for other people, but the majority of my life, my parents have been entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad has owned a exterminating company for over 35 years. We no longer have it now.
Wow.
But we started in 1975 to 2009.
He had a good run.
It was a good run.
He had a good run.
Killing roaches, chasing rats, bees, raccoons, everything. So exterminating company. And he started really from a 1-room office in the back of a strip club in Hempstead to a nice office. So
what strip club was that?
It was old school. It had to be in the 70s somewhere because I used to hang out there around the 80s, like 1980, but just in the back. Just in the back. I didn't see no strip club.
He wasn't part of the action.
No. That's where he started from. That's where he started from.
He started from the bottom.
That's it. Now we're here, right? And that's it. And my mom has supported my dad all those years working for him. Wow. He started his small business and he needed someone to run the office while he went out and got the contracts and did the killing of the roaches and the rats and the mice. Somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to do it.
Somebody.
Wow.
So, and that's it. Grew up.
Now, how far apart are you and your brother in age?
2 years.
Wow, so you guys are close.
2 years. That's it. So most people, because girls mature faster than boys.
They say.
So some people thought we were twins, but we were close in age. So we pretty much had the same friends and things like that growing up. So that's cool. It. Yeah, grew up in Hempstead.
So now, grew up in Hempstead. Your dad, 35 years. That is a very good run.
Yes,
that's a very good run. So you grew up in an environment where it showed you how powerful love can be.
That's right.
And being a supportive spouse can be.
Absolutely.
So was that a thing as a little girl you understood, like, I'm going to be married one day, I'm going to have my own family one day? Or was it just, this is regular?
Well, just being real, I know these are some things that everyday people are going through. My parents were married for over 20 years, but later on got divorced.
Okay.
But I was able to see that foundation growing up on the supportive spouse,
right,
and helping out build that business. It really, if not for my mom, my dad wouldn't be able to go out and do what he was able to do. In addition to that, my dad was the first African American mayor here on Long Island.
You know about to tap into that.
Yeah. So for many years, for 16 years. Right. So trying to run that and do that, you need support.
Right.
You need support.
Right.
Absolutely. You need support.
So even with that, what was that like being the daughter of the person who, because it ain't always fun and games when it comes to these positions politically. You go through attacks and, people rely on you. It's easy to be accusations. So what was that like as a daughter?
Yes. As a daughter, I was able to see the good things, right? We see the positive things, but then you see not so positive things.
So what was the positive things?
The positive thing, you saw an excitement in the village. You saw an excitement in the state, and to go to see him work and to be, surrounded by so many so many influential people.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I got a chance to meet Guy and Cicely Tyson and Maya Dinkins and so many other people just by.
Rest in peace.
I know. Some amazing people. Yes, some amazing people. And just able to see him work and to see him to maneuver in Washington, D.C. and here locally. Because as a mayor, you just can't be stuck here locally.
Right.
You have to take the village beyond.
Right.
You know, to New York State and also on a federal level to get exposure. And the negative, you can't please everybody. That's just politics.
Yeah.
You know.
That's in life.
That's in life. You cannot.
That's for somebody.
You cannot please everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody will not be in your corner because everybody may not agree with your mindset. Everybody may not agree with your ideals or whatever that may be. And that's just a part of politics. Right. And I understand that very well. Everybody's not going to be in your corner. So I heard people talk about my dad, you know, when he wasn't in the room or whatever. People not knowing who I was. Ooh. But people talk.
Did you ever say anything?
Sometimes you have to say something because, you know, something's like blatantly just not true.
Yeah, like just come on now. Like, what are we doing?
Come on, really? And sometimes I let people rock out and they had their opinions. And respectfully, nothing crazy, but, you know, sometimes you just want to see what they're going to say. Just, you know, whatever. But
so what was it like, you know, did Dad have conversations with you guys? And we're going to get off this.
Yeah.
Shout out to your dad.
Yes.
In reference to being able to stand up for yourself as a child and also knowing your place as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up in an era where I started telling my daughter and my son, when I entered a room as a child, if you saw adults, you weren't able to.
Kept pushing.
You couldn't hang out.
It was like about face.
That's exactly. My aunt would quickly remind you, hi, you got something to say to your mama.
Have a good moment.
And and
carry on.
Carry on. But you know,
old school.
Old school.
That's how we grew.
Yes, you couldn't hang around. But my dad always encouraged me to listen. Always never depend on nobody else. Right. And he always would say, listen, make your own money. Do what you're going to do.
That part.
He used to say, don't never depend on a man. But if you're married, that is something totally different.
Okay, what is it that's different?
That's it. Well, he was saying financially, make sure you have your own income and your thing. I'm not saying, you know, because you were married, that you can't, you know, spouse support or whatever. I think that's what I want to say. But you may be able to lean on your spouse financially or emotionally, right? So, but when you're married, something totally different. It's not about the being selfish, right? We have to
help somebody.
You gotta exactly.
We help
somebody
in the world.
Exactly. So that's what my dad always instilled in me and said, okay, I can always do anything you put your mind to. He always had that entrepreneurial mind. Right. Even if I come up with a concept today, he'd be ready to start a business tomorrow.
See that?
Oh, you can start that. You start that business. Yes. You make a coaster. Let's contact this company. We can make a bunch of coasters. You know. So, but yes.
I love it. I love it. Yes. I love that. Now, thank you so much, you know, for expressing that. If dad didn't have mom, he wouldn't have been able to do the things.
Absolutely.
Because I think what happens is we are going to absolutely get off this.
Yes.
We got plenty to talk about. But I'm tapping back in because we're seeing so much going on in relationships right now, and the divorce rate is very high in real time. So when you see the songs like what's his name, Rose, what's the rapper name, the big guy,
yes,
whatever,
yes, big chains, shirt out, chest out,
Rick Ross,
that's right.
Okay, in Rick Ross' song, he says something on the lines of, You wasn't shooting with me in the gym. Meaning like she shouldn't get compensation or she shouldn't be taken care of because she was the one shooting the ball with her basketball husband.
Gotcha.
But we don't get that. The wife got to be up the sleepless nights.
Absolutely.
And sometimes doing paperwork and sometimes connecting dots and connecting people and getting lawyers in place and taking care of the children and also feeding the children and these different things. And that is totally counted out because we wasn't shooting in the gym.
There you go.
So we got to give everybody their props in reference to their position in marriage.
That's right.
And these different things. Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
And y'all hear all the sarcasm. Yes. God bless you. All right. So to me, it sounds like you had role models to show you how to kind of navigate from, being a child, teenage, into adulthood. Would you say?
I would say it was. I hate to go. I want to say hate to go back, but you have to go back to that old African proverb. It takes a village.
It takes a village.
It took a village. I had plenty of people in the village. If my parents weren't an example for XYZ, then I knew Mr. and Mrs. So and so.
Right.
And I say Mr. and Mrs. So and so because I'm a person of a certain age. I didn't call my parents' friends by their first name.
Hello, I still
I didn't. So it better have a Miss or Mrs.
Yes.
Behind it. But I was able to tap into the community, and it was plenty of people in my community that served that as that example.
Love that. We gotta bring that back.
Yeah, we do.
We need to bring that back. I mean, when I say bring that back, as in those who have something to give. Because I think right now too, the village is a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the village has issues.
That's right.
But the old school, we need to bring that energy back. And those who want to do the work and be the village, please tap in.
Right.
We need it, the adults as well as the youth. So,
yes, the adults.
Yes.
That's right.
Thank you so much for mentioning the village.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now, growing up in Hempstead, in Hempstead, I know where I'm from, we went through some stuff.
Okay.
Can you think of anything that comes to mind that had you really kind of troubled and you got through it and helped kind of make you the person that you are today, or nothing really?
Nothing that could stand out. I'm trying to think. Nothing I can say to get through something. I'm trying to think now. Ooh.
Well, that's good.
Listen.
I got a plethora of stories.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Really
like I said, I'm a person of a certain age, so I saw what the drug use did to the community.
Yeah.
I was that was that crack era.
Yeah.
The big radio walking down the street.
Okay,
Radio Raheem.
Right. Radio Raheem, for sure.
Radio Raheem. And, it was that, I'll say substance abuse. Now, we know it as substance abuse then. Maybe, I don't know, but I just do it
we said
as
crack.
drug. Yeah, crack. Absolutely. And at that time, you saw how it tore up families in the community. I know my parents, even if people fell on hard times, if somebody went to jail, my parents, as long as you're not on the job doing nothing crazy, work. As long as you can come to work, you can show up to work, and do the work, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it definitely tore our town up.
Yes, definitely the drugs.
Like a forest fire.
That's right.
Like literally like this.
That's right.
Absolutely. It was definitely different.
Yeah.
Now
we're just in different times where I'm for sure, I'm hopeful that one day the black on black crime, the shootings in our neighborhoods, that is definitely what we will heal.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Absolutely.
Because like you said before, a lot of people are hurting.
Yeah.
And that's just maybe a way of how trauma can spew out. That's just what that is. Some of that stuff is.
There's so much work to be done. There's so much work to be done.
It's getting there.
And we just gotta, keep speaking about it, keep talking about it, and make, bringing awareness to these things.
Absolutely.
That's what these platforms are for us, to bring awareness so people can, bring in a helping hand and do what needs to be done. But I will say this. I will say that there's so many deep-rooted issues.
It is.
So it can't be a Band-Aid thing. It has to be get the infection out surgically type of energy that we have to have in our communities for it to really be a difference made. A lot of it starts with our youth, speaking to our youth.
Yes.
Share with us your background in reference to education.
Okay, so I have a bachelor's degree in Parks and Recreation from North Carolina Central University, which is an HBCU. Yes, an HBCU or HBCU.
A shirt that says HBCU.
HBCU love.
Let's go.
Yes, and for those who do know, some don't know, HBCU is historically black colleges and universities.
Thank you for saying that.
Because I tell a lot of young people, we assume everybody know, and people may not know what that is. And when I have conversations sometimes now with young people, they're like, "What's that?" And I was like, okay, that's it.
No, that was good because we knew it, so we just kept talking. But
Yeah.
I thank you for saying that.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even. Go ahead.
So I have an undergrad degree in Parks and Recreation, and then I have a master's degree in social work from Adelphi University, just down the road a piece.
Down the road.
In Garner City.
No excuse zone, like my school right here.
Right, it's right here.
Right
exactly.
Here.
So
Love that.
That's what my educational background is.
Love that. So now, what made you get into these two specific fields? Or did you change it? Some of us get to college, we were like, I want to do this, but I think I want to do this. Did you go through that?
No, yeah, when I went to school, I was dead set on being a nurse. I knew I was going to be a nurse. And then later on, listen, those anatomy and physiology classes got a little tough, right? A little rigorous.
It's like, time out. Wait a minute.
So I had someone had mentioned to me about therapeutic recreation and how recreation can help those in recovery and therapy. Mm-hmm. And when I looked at the model, I was like, oh, I like that. Mm-hmm. And I get a chance to work with kids.
Love that.
Because I always wanted to work with kids.
Right.
So that's how I got into Parks and Recreation and therapeutic recreation. So that's that's how I started. And then really how I got into working, after we sold our family business in 2009, mm-hmm. my brother had mentioned to me about working like for Nassau County to do Child Protective Services. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I had, what do you call it? Idea of what Child Protective Services was. Okay. Really didn't know too much about it. And I started working that job and I loved it.
Well, what did you think it was about?
I thought it was about the negative stuff that probably most of you in your audience may think about. Oh, Child Protective Services, all you do is take away kids from their families. Right. That's all you do. You're not there to really help and mm-hmm. things like that. And so, but when I got a chance to really do the work, you see that that's not really about that. That's not what the goal is.
So what's the goal?
The goal is to keep families intact.
Okay.
But you have people out there who don't do such nice things to their kids. Yeah. And some things really could be prevented. Some things with and sometimes it's hard with family have the proper resources.
Okay.
Then maybe families may not be in the predicament that they are in.
So when you say proper resources, you mean things like maybe parenting courses?
Absolutely.
Food programs, like what are the
what
are the resources?
Yeah, exactly. Food programs. Maybe the parent may not have to work the 2-3 jobs, and the kids are home by themselves, right? If we had, maybe the proper medical, like, we have access now to Medicaid and certain things, but parents may have to work that full-time job again, and other jobs to keep that insurance in place. Because insurance is expensive. Right. Mental health services for the parent and for the child. Right. Substance abuse services. Right. All these resources we should have in our community, have access to the community. We know we don't always have access to, or have access to information, and that's one of the things where I feel like working in Child Protective Services, you see communities up and coming and providing these services for some areas who maybe we say hard hit or maybe low income areas, where we try to push in resources and let people know, hey, this is available for you.
Right.
That they may not know about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because a lot of times it is lack of information. And people don't know because they actually don't know.
They don't.
So they're thinking like, okay, I have to work. Maybe the other parent isn't involved for whatever reason. And now I got to leave my kid because I got to work to keep the roof over their head, and then they end up losing their child.
That's right. Or maybe a mistake happened. Maybe you have a 10-year-old babysitting a 5-year-old, 2-year-old.
Right.
Maybe not the best decision. Yeah. But like I said, with proper resources, then maybe that parent would be forced to leave those children alone all by themselves.
Did you ever have a time, or can you remember like where it kind of took a toll on you?
It has, it's like, I don't want to say daily trauma, if you will, right? Because the last, I did Child Protective Service for 14 years. Mm-hmm. And the last 8 of that, I investigated sex abuse cases for children. Wow. And that's just up until recently, a few months ago. So there have been plenty of times where you're like, oh my goodness, it does take a toll when you're hearing trauma every day.
Every day.
Every day. Every day. And then you have some stuff that people like, really, you call that in? Are you really right? Like, why you do that?
What are we doing right now?
Why
taxpayers' money?
Why you do that?
Uh-oh.
You know, like, come on. Come
Uh-oh.
on. You know, even with schools, I'm like, some schools, like, did you, bother to contact the parent? And some have, and some have outreach, and sometimes when they've exhausted all the avenues, then they'll reach out and say, okay, we need some help for this family.
So what was something minor be with the school? Like maybe the kid keeps falling asleep or the kid's smelling? Like what?
It could be. Like one time it was a case where the kid's her hair wasn't kept, like not washed properly or whatever. And the social worker was very worried about the kid. He's coming to school with his hair, this and that. And when I talked to the kid, he's growing locks. And now I'm like, you're not gonna wash. You may not wash your hair every day. I mean, he's a kid.
So sorry.
And then the social worker may be sitting there
because
like,
I had a feeling she was gonna say that. I promise you, I had a feeling she was gonna say that.
And I'm like, me and the kid having a conversation. I was growing my hair natural at the time, and we were having a conversation about hair care products. I'm like, oh, you growing your hair in the locks too, and this and that. And the social worker was like,
oh boy,
oh wow,
no good,
like you,
no good. So now, was that like a culture thing?
Yes, yes. Some things, sometimes you have to be. Listen, a cultural competency is real.
It is
very real.
Oh boy,
so. But listen, and I'm sure it's maybe other cultural things that I may not be tapped into other communities, absolutely. Right? Oh, I got a good example for that one.
Go ahead.
Right, for our own bias, right? One time I did have a family that I was working with where they had a toddler who had escaped the house 2 times.
Okay.
And the kid, toddler was found like a couple blocks away.
Oh, not a couple of blocks?
Yeah, a couple blocks.
Oh,
he's left.
Ooh.
But the police, found him, and the mom has some substance abuse issues, right? And I'm thinking this, a white family, has some issues going on, and ultimately we had to remove this particular child. Mm-hmm. So when you do, when we kids are up for to remove, you have to. It's it's a team. It's really an effort. It's not just like, oh, you're coming with me, something's wrong, and come with me. It is not. It's a production. Yeah. It's a huge production. Yeah. And come to find out, we have to make sure, like, if we remove kids, are they maybe Native American? Come to find out, the entire family, Native American. But because of my own bias, right. I just saw a white family. Now, that had nothing to do with me removing the child or not, but there's certain laws in place. Right. If you are removing a child who is Native American, you have to contact the council. Yeah. You have Cherokee Council, different kind of councils that you have to adhere to, and you cannot play with that.
No, that's right.
And I was like, someone had told me, did you know? And I said, no, I didn't even ask. But, I mean, that was later resolved, too, because if we did the proper channels and stuff like that, things we had to go through and contact or whatever. But I'm like, listen, we all have these. Yes, absolutely. If it's not your world, it's not your world. It's not your.
Wow, that was something.
Yeah.
Wow, deserves. But I mean, when it comes to sexual abuse, what was your outlet? In reference to having to release this energy, because even with like people who work with mentally ill people and people with Alzheimer's and stuff like that, you have to have something going on. Or sometimes, depending on the facility or the situation, they will give you breaks or they'll switch people out after a certain amount of time.
Yes.
For mental care.
That's right.
So what was like your outlet?
Yeah.
8 years of that.
I know. When they, the staff where I work with asked me to go and work with kids who've been sexually abused. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm that good with kids. Like, I don't know. Because at the time, I didn't tell anybody I have a history of being sexually abused by a female cousin. I didn't say that because I'm thinking like people might think like, oh, you might not be able to do the job or whatever.
Because you'll take it too personal?
Exactly. Okay. So I didn't mention it to anybody.
Did you ever mention it?
I did.
You mentioned it when it happened? How old were you?
Well, no, I didn't mention it when it happened. And that's one of the reasons why I had decided to, I'll talk about it in a minute, about writing the book. I was around 10 years old. But at the time, I didn't tell my parent because it was a family member. And
you knew it was violation.
it was felt weird. I knew it was something's not right about it. Yeah, I knew it wasn't. I knew it absolutely wasn't right. But there's a family member of mine, and all the after school specials I would see on TV is about the stranger.
Stranger danger.
Always stranger danger. The stranger, the stranger.
That is significant. What you just said.
Absolutely,
wow.
Absolutely. So, and you asked me how do I handle it? The working with investigating sex abuse cases for children really is a team effort. Okay. So you have, child protective services, you have the district attorneys, you have child advocates, you have special victims police department to help you do all these things. And so, unfortunately, like our normal conversations in the office would be about children's private parts all day, and that's like it's normalized. Right. So day in day out, that's the conversations all day. Conversations all day.
It's normalized, but it's not normal.
No, it is not normal.
So did you have an outlet, or was it a thing where this is just my job?
Well,
some people can't do that.
I do that. I did it very well. Mm-hmm. I do. You cannot get emotional when you're talking to kids. You're talking to family members. You can't break down when they breaking down and they going through crisis. Mm-hmm. You got to keep together. Right. You got to keep it together. But I love. I love reading. I love thrifting. So, so it's many things. I have my self-care meditation. Yes, I'm big on meditation.
Say that.
I am huge on meditation.
Come on in here.
And self-care, taking care of yourself, and it gives me peace and calm to gather my thoughts and things like that. So those are some of the things that help me.
Awesome.
Help me out.
All right. Let's go, guys. Because I know some people deal with crazy jobs. Like I work a crazy job.
Yeah.
So I have to meditate.
That's
and
right.
Pray.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely
not surround myself with negative energy.
There you go. That's right.
You got to release. So
you have to release.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
So is that segue to the book or?
Oh yeah. Yes. So I'll
you can show it.
Oh, thank you very much. So this is a children's book that my very first book ever that I've written, and it's called Shanti's Safe Place. And I wrote this book when I first started my job. Wow. Like really within the first year that I started it, because I found that parents were having or has had a difficult conversation talking to kids about their private parts and about body safety. Mm-hmm. Some parents, when kids come in to see me, it's typically too late. Something had happened.
Yes, right.
Or something was about to happen. Mm-hmm. And the parents were like, "Oh, I didn't think at this age that I would have to bring that topic up."
Come on, Yolanda, help us right now.
Or I didn't know how to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. So, or because it was a person they knew, they always drilled in their child's head, stranger, stranger, stranger. Mm-hmm. And the majority of the cases, let me listen up, people. Yes. The majority are family members or people that your child know, that you trust, and that your child trusts. Right. So that's one of the things.
That's statistics.
That's statistics. That's right. That's facts.
Those are facts.
Those are facts.
Right.
This is not the stranger. Yeah. But these are. I wanted to create a character who, first of all, looked like me. I love having beads in the summertime.
I love the cover. I love this cover.
I love getting my hair braided in the summertime. Now, this is not my personal story, but this Shanti, just going to give you a quick snippet. Shanti goes through a scenario, an incident where a cousin did something to her, and she had special speakers come into her school, a social worker and a detective, come and speak to the kids about this topic. And she was like, "Oh, let me talk to these people about what happened to me." Mm-hmm. And then eventually she has an interview like with a person like me and discloses what happened, and eventually told her parents. And, she had the support of her mom in the book. Right. But like I said, it's the character is 10 years old, but I always tell parents, this is like a tool. If you're having a tough conversation, you find it hard to have a conversation with your child. Right. If your child is old enough, have them read it themselves.
Love that.
Then have a conversation with your child about it.
Love that.
If your child is young, read it with your child and tailor it to the age of that child to comprehend, to understand. That's good. Mm-hmm. So this is just a little something that I created. And in regard, it's not explicit. It's not, something that I wouldn't show, to any kid, a child. But it really is about keeping your body safe. And your child having the power to say no, or whoever you are, guardian or whatever, teacher, it just teaches a kid that you have the power to say no over your body.
Right.
It's your body.
Right.
Everybody can't hug you. Everybody can't touch you.
Personal space.
Personal as boundaries.
Absolutely.
Boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ooh, thank you, God.
Yes.
Listen, my kids know early on, like I've had adults like, you keep doing what you're doing with him. I'm like, I'm sorry, Dad, because he was like, excuse me. I said, oh yeah, they're taught. They're like, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that.
That's right.
And I mean, to the parents, it's like time out for telling yourself, I couldn't say this to them.
Yes.
Because you don't want to see Miss Yolanda.
You don't.
You don't want to see me either. Because I work at a jail.
That's right. Exactly.
I mean, like she said, it's too late.
Ooh,
it is too late.
Absolutely.
And it's happening more. This has been going on since the beginning of time.
Oh, yes.
This is not something new. This is not something new.
No.
So, thank you for showing me safe place.
Yeah, thank you. And this stretches all, people always, it amazes me. I can go to $1 million homes and people are worried about this happening in the hood. If I go to the hood, is it happening
everywhere?
Everywhere. Every culture. Every culture. Every
yeah.
culture.
Every culture. Every culture. Every culture. Every culture.
Now, some of us, tend to sweep it under the rug. We don't want to say nothing because we want to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
But guess what? When you do that, and I try to explain to parents, when you do that, you're not helping the next child unfold. Hopefully, there's never a next child. But the person you don't choose to say nothing about, there could potentially be another victim if you don't say nothing.
A lot of times they don't say nothing also because it already happened to somebody else. Too.
Oh, yes, we got it.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
We're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
Yes.
That's what happened in my family.
That's right.
The person that did it to me did it to somebody else already.
Absolutely.
And they knew. See? So you end up victimizing the person by keeping the predator covered. Covered. And able to go amongst and prey on others again.
Absolutely.
So, secrets kill.
Absolutely.
When it's a spirit, it kills. Secrets kill. So.
Oh, and listen. And
listen to your children.
Listen to your kids. Mm-hmm. Because like I tell parents, you have some parents who say, oh, I don't, they're not telling the truth, or they were making up certain parts of it, or something misconstrued, or I don't think this happened. Listen, when some kids who have been sexually abused, you cannot make up a sexual experience. You can't create that. Right. I don't care if you think your child read it in a book, saw it on a movie, somewhere. Your child cannot make up. That's like me saying that you yourself as an adult, right, have a sexual experience. You know what went on. You know what happened, what transpires, right, with adult bodies. And imagine your 10-year-old child, your 8-year-old child telling me line by line a sexual experience that you and I should have. Mm-hmm. And then ended it with, they told me not to say anything. Absolutely. Or they said they would hurt you. Or they said it would hurt me. Whatever. Because you have some parents, like you said, who don't want them to say anything. And you want your child to live with that type of trauma and not get the help that they need for that. And then you're ended up with an adult who's traumatized, and trauma is just spewing out so many different ways. Absolutely. It spews out into promiscuity, substance abuse, mental health. It's so many things. Many avenues. Yeah, so many avenues, and someone who could possibly end up in the justice system. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Just for not handling it then. For not getting them the help they needed then. Absolutely. So, thank you for sharing that. Yep. Now, I'm just ask you one question, then we're gonna move on. Yes. Just bringing up the different things and how the assault and the abuse can affect you. Do you think that knowing that this happened to you at 10, do you think now that you're an adult and you look back, do you feel that you handle yourself a certain way growing up because you were carrying this? Yeah, what did you tell your parents? Yeah, let me tell you something. That happened to me when I was 10. I didn't tell my parents until I was 21. Me too. I didn't tell them until 21. Me too. 21 was the age. Yes, because for a while I forgot. Something, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It just came out, actually. See? Wow. And something triggered where I remembered it. I know for a while I forgot, but for something triggered, I remembered it. You'll be surprised what can trigger the brain and our subconscious. You never know. But I didn't tell my parents until I was 21. And then their response was, Yolanda, why didn't you say anything? Why you say nothing? And it's not like my cousin never threatened me because that was one of my favorite cousins. And because of that reason, I knew something was weird and off, but I didn't say nothing. But then, sometimes when I play that back, like, why did I say anything? Like, why did I say? Because
I don't have an answer either.
I don't have an answer.
Yeah,
it was my favorite cousin. But now that I know, as an adult, she had mental health issues. I'm not saying that's the cause of it. And then being in therapy, because before the book came out, I started therapy because that's something I had to process, and people asked me questions about the book and things like that, right?
So you started therapy before you took the job? Or
No,
when you took the job?
When I took the job. I started therapy really maybe a year before the book came out.
Now, you started therapy because you were tapping into this field, or because you just happened to feel like I need to speak to someone?
No, I probably was in the field 5 to 6 years.
Oh, you
already?
Oh, right, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah.
And then you went into sexual abuse.
Yes, and I went to sexual abuse, but while I was in sexual abuse, I didn't really tap into therapy until like 5, 6 years in, because I said I'm gonna release this book. But then most of my family members did not know I was sexually abused, so I want to sit with someone to help process that, because this is just trauma. I still have to talk about it and try to talk about and explain the book, and also my family members try to explain that for those who didn't know.
Right.
And then my therapist made a very good point. Like, did you ever ask any of your family members, did this person sexually abuse them?
Right.
And that hit me like a ton of bricks in therapy. I was like, out of all the investigations I have done,
come on,
after talking
therapist,
talking to family members, I never thought about that. And when I thought about it, and when the abuse, but that wasn't the first time by any means of stretch the imagination. That was not that person's first time. And I know that probably just from experience. Yeah. Somebody, somewhere was a victim too. Right. And maybe they just didn't, that person never told anybody or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is something.
Wow. And I'm like, okay.
Listen, I am an advocate for therapy.
Yes.
And I'm grateful that it's becoming more. I don't like using the word trend unless it's something that's like really like a trend. Yes. I'm loving that there's more speaking about it.
I love it.
And the importance and how it's helping people. Because a lot of times, even with the males who go through sexual abuse, they don't think they were sexually abused. They just think like, I'm just sexually active, or I just like sex. Mm-hmm. That's because of what happened to you, beloved.
That's right. Absolutely.
You were violated.
Absolutely.
And the violation has you behaving in a certain way now as an adult. Mm-hmm. It's passed through you as an adult. So sometimes, and we don't even realize subconsciously, as adults, we bring these things into our relationships. Mm-hmm. And I'm not giving no excuse to nobody, but the promiscuity part of things,
that's right.
There's usually something behind it.
Absolutely.
And you've told yourself, no, I'm fine. This was just, she was 30 and I was 14, but I was, no. That was violation.
Absolutely.
That was violation. And your PTSD of it is showing up in your relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we have to heal.
Right.
We have to do better. And we have to have these hard conversations with our children. That's what it starts with.
That's right.
Because to me, and this is just me, I would love for you to tap into it. I feel that sometimes adults are afraid to have conversations because it's something that they actually went through and no one talked to them. So they convince themselves, I didn't know how to talk. You can just talk.
That's right.
Because if your child get in trouble in school and you go to the principal, you're not going to not have a conversation about how they got in trouble. You're going to have that conversation to see why they did what they did. Same energy you have to have with your children.
Absolutely.
You're going to have these conversations and not like baby talk. Because with my kids, I did not say your pee, and I didn't know. This is your penis.
This is key.
This is your breast.
This is key.
These are your private areas. This is a no-touch zone.
Yes.
If you feel uncomfortable, tell an adult.
Mm-hmm. That's key. Listen,
we're not gonna play with this.
We're not gonna play, and there's so many.
We're not gonna play.
They're gonna play with this. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. But you're absolutely right, because one of the things that when we interview kids, so many children do not know the proper names of their private parts. Mm-hmm. And they coming in talking about it's a flower, it's a pocketbook, it's a sausage, it's a pole.
It's a pocketbook, child.
It's a pocketbook. It's a pocketbook.
Look, you can put stuff in and out of pocketbooks. We don't want to use that one.
Exactly. But these are some of the things that parents tell their kids. And I try to tell parents, say, listen, Because in an interview, I can never give that child that if the child doesn't know it's a vagina, I cannot say it's a vagina.
Right.
I can't.
You gotta go by the information.
Exactly. I have to go. If it's a pocketbook, I have to roll with the pocketbook.
Wow.
But I tell parents afterwards, please have a conversation with your child to give them the real names of their body parts. So when they have to come and speak to somebody or tell a safe person, they're not going to be saying, "Oh, something's wrong with my pocketbook." They're going to be like, "Well, what's wrong with the pocketbook?" But if your child comes to somebody and say something's wrong with my vagina,
right.
somebody's touched my vagina, you're going to pay attention.
Yes.
You're gonna lean in a little, and then say,
that
okay,
posture gonna change.
It's gonna change, absolutely. And I think as parents, it's our community. I can speak for our community.
Yes,
we don't give the right names.
Right,
we don't.
Some
of us, not everybody.
I ain't playing. We ain't playing with this thing.
But I think it's improving. It's improving.
Yes. Baby steps. Good baby steps. We're going in the right direction. Thank you. All right, so now you have the book. So therapy. You have to tap into your healing. I'm saying this for a reason because I hear so many people say, well, I want to write a book about this. I want to write a book about that. If you're a writer, you can just write a book. But if it's something that you know is going to penetrate and you want this message to be sent, you want to respectfully get what you need before you put information out there.
Absolutely. So
I want to thank you, for having enough respect and enough wisdom to say, let me go see what's going on up in here first before I start writing this little book.
That's great.
It's let me see what's happening, and then I can be authentic and it can be effective.
That's it.
You better go get this book.
Thank you.
Get mine for sure. Definitely get mine for sure.
Yes.
So now, are you just a natural writer? Or this is just something that was on your heart? You're like, I got to get this out.
This is something that was on my heart. I kind of wrote it in a sense like I was writing a case note for a particular case.
Okay.
And I'm like, once the idea, I wrote that in one night. That's why I say divinely inspired. You never know who you are going to help. If I would have kept this to myself, who am I really,
Yolanda?
Who am I really helping?
Yes.
But I wanted to help the kids. I wanted to help that parent, that grandparent, that teacher, that doctor, somebody to say, this is a conversation piece, so.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I'm going to need some of you elementary school teachers to tap into this book. I'm serious.
No,
see if your school will, be okay with it. And we need to go, or some of you youth pastors or whoever that deals with children in the church, because this happens in the church as well.
Oh.
Okay?
Ooh,
Let's
God,
be
let me
real.
tell you something.
This goes on in religion.
Yes.
And in places that are supposed to be safe for our children.
Absolutely.
And even with that, sometimes the parents want to cover that up as well because they're like, I want to stay in this church.
Absolutely.
Or this is my family church. And that couldn't happen to you. You misunderstood. And it's a problem.
Absolutely.
Because now you're victimizing your child again. And our children are supposed to be safe with us.
That's right.
We should be able to be 10 and 7 and say, this just happened. It didn't feel right.
That's right.
That is my cousin, or that is the family friend who's been in the family forever. That's like a grandfather. But this happened. Okay?
That's right.
And feel safe.
That's it.
Not covered up and not still being around the predator.
Oh, my goodness.
Because a lot of times the victim still has to be around this person.
That's right.
They're uncomfortable.
That's right.
They're closed out. There's
right.
no energy there because
No.
something happened.
That's right.
So, thank you so much for that and the work you've done, in that field. I hope someone else who may be in the social work field or definitely dealing with sexual abuse can understand and see themselves in Yolanda's story because,
yes,
I see myself.
Thank you. One thing I want to tap into, along with meditation, I journal. I have so many journals. I journal a whole lot.
Yes.
And so just recently, because I have the follows on TikTok too, and all social media, some social media platforms, and investigating cases, I did find that you have a lot of parents who have been sexually abused themselves, who have gone through trauma themselves. So I created a journal. This is I haven't even released it yet. I got the shipment in.
It's Hot Mic with Lady She's podcast exclusive.
I haven't even released it yet. I just got them last week because I sent it to be designed and I put it in, and it's called We Vive. Instead of Revive, we. As a community, we're vibing and we're thriving.
Love that.
So even though we may have been in a position where we have experienced trauma, sexual abuse, any past traumas, we're able to say, you know what? Let me write it out.
Write it down, make it
write it down, and that's it. And say what self-care things, what my thoughts and things I can just write down. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I really created for the women.
Love that.
Who have been going through some stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the exclusive for me.
Yes.
Okay. I'm the first. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. I love this. But that's amazing.
Thank you.
If you watch any of the episodes, I always speak about journaling. Like probably in every episode I'm mentioning writing things down and how I encourage my children to write down their feelings. Because that was my outlet as a child. Going through that, I wrote. That's all I did was write. My exterior is very hard. I dressed like a boy. I was like that girl. I was like someone like Aaliyah. I always had the straight hair and a pretty face, but the clothes was baggy. Not knowing that was from the trauma. Me not wanting to be seen. It deals on your psyche, your mental. You don't even know until you get older. You realize this is why I was the way I was. Because of violation. So writing was my outlet as a child. Writing was everything for me. So yes, journaling is everything. If you can't speak it or you're feeling like you're closed out, you can always write it down as you and God. That's you and your thoughts. Write that thing down and get that release so you can go to the next step. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And when is this going to be coming out?
So within the next month, I'm going to get it together. I was trying to get it out before the holidays. I may try to get it out for the holidays so people can give it as a gift. Or just buy something for themselves and say this is a little something for me. For myself, a little self-care.
We vibe.
Yes, we vibe.
I love that. We vibe. That is so cool. Love that.
Thank you.
So now, the encourager, the friend, the wife, the daughter, the social worker, the author. How does it play into motherhood and being a wife? Like, because people say to me all the time, how do you do everything you're doing? I'm like, in my mind, if you want to do it, you're going to do it.
That's it.
So how do you navigate being a wife and being a mom? How'd you meet your husband?
I met my husband through an aunt and my cousin. And they were saying, oh, we know this nice young man. He's looking for a girlfriend and this and that. Trying to butter it up. And so I met him like my birthday weekend back in, I think, 2005, 4. Yeah. And I said, all right, let me, I wasn't really looking for anybody, right? And when I met my husband, he is someone that I probably would have never even given the time of day, right?
Shout out to
but that probably comes with
first on the planet.
That comes with maturity, people.
All right. Well,
that comes with maturity.
Come on.
When we think what God sends us is going to be in this particular package, but when God sends you this package,
who's she talking to?
And you blow your mind and be like, oh, that's who you said. Okay,
that's what you said. Yes, no, thank you for saying it because people need to hear this right now.
Yes.
You keep dating the same person with a different name. Go ahead, Yolanda. Move on, man. We'll be here for 2 hours.
I know. So that's how I met my husband through some family members of mine, and that's it. Went on one date, and that's it. Less than 2 years later, married, and I've been married 16 years. Yeah.
Black love for the win. Yes. Okay, it's the family for me. That's with the hookup too.
Yeah, the family gave the hookup.
Because most time family will hook up with a good person.
Yes. Yes. So my aunt and my cousin put the stamp on it. I was like, okay, all right, I'll go on a date.
Now you being your dad's and your mom's only girl, was there like with dating? Was there always like who they?
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. You couldn't get no.
Like, what was that like?
Yeah, no. It was no cell phones where you can get a private call. Back in the day, when you get a call from a boy, that call is coming to the kitchen. That's hooked up to a landline on the wall, so everybody gonna hear your conversation. So it was no. Yeah, it was no. We had to. It was a certain age you could wear heels, certain age you could wear nail polish. That's just my dad. But or you can have a boyfriend. To date. So that's it. It's not super crazy, but he was a typical dad. He's a dad. Absolutely. That's it. You come home too late, then we'll have a conversation.
That's so funny. I love that. I love that. So 2004, 2005, you guys have been together for 16 years.
Yeah.
What makes it work?
Oh, you know what? I say, listen, friendship, mutual respect. You know, I told him, like, when he married me, I'm like, I like to go out. I like to do certain things. I like to go. My husband's a homebody. So, when he married me, I told him who I was, and vice versa. Like this, these are not financial stuff. Is not my strength. Right. You know, this is
what's that mean?
It's not my strength. The budgeting, the this, that.
Okay.
That's
the
organization.
Of
that's
finances.
Not my, that's not my strength. But my husband's he's a number cruncher, CFO, Vive.
Okay.
He's sitting crunch numbers for fun.
Okay.
And he will make sure you straight.
You straight. So y'all make sense then.
We make that exactly.
God sends you who you need.
Exactly. But you know what? It's a balance because I am busy. Mm-hmm. And if my husband said, like, Yolanda, like, what's happening? What's happening? Then I have to rein it in. I have to try to, like, even now, like, I got a new career and things like that. I have to be conscious. And sometimes he has to remind me of that. And that's fine. That's okay. Then I'm like, all right, let me cancel this. Let me shift this around. Let me try to do this or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's about, trying to be respectful of each other. Right. Respectful of each other. And listen, the looks will fade. That will fade.
You better say it.
All of that stuff is going to fade away. When you look for, I need this person to look this way, be that way. And that's all well and good, That's all well and good. Whatever you like is what you like. Right. That's what you like. Mm-hmm. But don't be so concentrated on the look, the this, the that. Because things can change.
Absolutely.
At any given moment.
Any given moment.
Any given moment.
Hello with that one.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm sure I gave a pound or two, a roll or two.
Not a roll or two.
That's it.
I love that. So now, being married to your friend, I love that you said that, because I think people miss that part. Like, and to me, when I think of friendship, I think of a safe space. Yes. And your friendship, if you got to question your friendship, you better figure that thing out. Yes. You need to figure that thing out. So your spouse should absolutely be your friend. So do you feel that seeing and being in your marriage, how do you compare it to your mom and dad?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, well, I would say this, my husband has conversations with me, and maybe it's some conversations my parents may have had, maybe I may not be privy to. Mm-hmm. But he'll ask me, we'll have conversations on, kind of check in and see where we are in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Do things. And like I said, I think my perception from a kid or a young person looking into their marriage, right? And maybe now, and maybe, like I said, they might be had those conversations. I just no. But I think just having, maybe simple conversations. My parents did go out, but just try to have time for themselves. Mm-hmm. I didn't see a whole lot themselves.
Gotcha.
So their own thing. If I see my parents go, they all went to massive people, or they went to an event or something like that. But yeah, I would say just having quiet time for themselves, that I didn't see. But me and my husband try to do that. If it's just home, sitting at home watching Netflix on the couch. Right. That's what he like to do, so that's what I'll do.
We doing it.
That's it. And sometimes he sacrificed to come out socially. My husband's not a very social person. Right. So he's like, I gotta get dressed up. I gotta wear what? I gotta do this. Like, what?
He's like, what time? What? When I wear blue.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll whip it out. I'm like, did you iron that? Like, think you're gonna iron that? I'll do it for you.
I got you, honey.
I got you.
We in this together.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So, what is it like being a mom? Being a parent is everything to me. So what is that like?
Oh, listen. My daughter is 25 and my son is 14. So definitely an age difference that I have. So when I had my daughter, I was a single parent. Okay. I had my daughter in college. So that parenting looks a lot different now than I have my son with me and his dad in the same household. Right. So it's a little different. Okay. And I thank God at that time that I was raising a daughter. as a single parent.
Right.
Because if I was raising a son, then I'd be like, ooh, I might need some help.
Not ooh.
Ooh, I might need some help in these certain areas.
Right.
But parenting adult, because listen, they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's an adult. Parenting looks a little different, but I absolutely love it because her and my son are different styles of parenting. He needs a little more hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter thinks that I coddle him too much.
Okay.
But I don't want to create the mama's boy. I don't
that part.
want to create the mama's boy.
That part.
Yes, I tell my son, I'm like, listen, you got to learn how to cook. You got to learn how to clean, do
Come
your
on,
laundry.
Yolanda.
Because when your wife come home, your wife will need help.
Yes.
Your wife will need help with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to have kids, you would need to cook because that might be a very inexpensive date for your wife to come home and for you to cook her a meal.
Absolutely.
Rub her feet.
Come on in.
You're gonna thank me later.
It'd be the free stuff that matters.
Absolutely. That you
makes
know
the difference.
Absolutely. I told my son, like, if your spouse or your partner, whoever, knows that you took the time to say, let me create this or let me do this, and you took the time to do it, thank you later.
That's everything.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the little things that matter. I promise.
Absolutely.
I promise.
Yes.
The little things.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you said it's different parenting because I think people have a thing of saying, you're supposed to treat them the same, and that is not true.
Nope.
That is not reality. They have different personalities, and you are in a different place when you have them. So it's not realistic that you're going to be the same.
No.
And then there are different genders as well.
Absolutely.
So, we got to sometimes, get over the little cliches and the little quotes and stuff and be real with ourselves that, where you were as a single
20-something
college student,
absolutely,
raising a daughter, you're in a different place with a partner.
That's right.
And, a different setting, a different home setting. So I love that you said my daughter said I coddle him too much.
I'm like, but he's not, at your age, he's not you. Like, I would never, like, my daughter would, when he's 14 now. So 14, 15, my daughter could get on a plane by herself and I pay the fee. Or sometimes at 15, she could fly by herself to go here to North Carolina, here and there. My son could not do that right now. Lord have mercy.
We know our kids too.
Yes, we know our kids' strengths and weaknesses.
We be knowing our children.
Absolutely.
We absolutely
let my son loose at airports. I'm like, I don't know if he's going to make it to the gate.
He's going to be like, Mom, this ain't it. I'm coming back.
That's it.
I love that. So now, being in Hempstead, the new position that you have, what did that feel like? Let's talk about that.
Yes.
And then I have a few more questions that we're going to close
Sure.
out. What was that like?
So the park, I'm the superintendent of the Village of Hempstead Parks and Recreation. So the person that has headed that, who has been in that position, has been in that position over 44 years. So that person that I have seen since I was a kid. I would go to the pool, I would go to the park, and that same person has been there my entire life. Forever. He's been there forever.
Right.
So that type of experience, that's experience.
Yeah.
And when you're leaving almost a void almost, right? When you leave. But when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, well, and I told you guys earlier, I have an undergrad in Parks and Recreation, which professionally, I really didn't get a chance to use that many years because I'm a social worker, right? So when that presented itself, I was like, wow, this is an opportunity to come back to head the park that I played in as a kid, day after day, before there was any formal camps. My parents would leave $2.50 on the table. With that, you could swim all day, play at the playground after swimming. You got to be home before sundown to make sure that your chores was done and completed.
Well,
and then maybe you can go back out and play before the street lights went on.
Right.
But it's not like a coming home almost. It's like it's very weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Very weird because some of the staff members who have been there all my life who still work there. It's like 2 or 3 who have been there 45 years.
Yes.
And it's like now I'm their superintendent.
Right.
But I lean on them for the experience. And they know what their community wants and what they like and what they don't like. Right. Because I can think of all these nice creative ideas and they're like, excuse me, I don't know what's going on. Or we love that and we need that.
Right.
So it's like a coming home. It really is something special for me.
Yeah. What did your husband say?
He was just
I know he was like, "This is really happening.
This is really happening.
Right.
This is yes." So I mean, like I said, everybody's been to the park. Where we live at, everybody, it's like a flagship park, if you will. It's like the biggest park. And
yes,
all the goings on goes at this park. So, and this is before, like when I was a kid, there was no social media and things to trap you in the house, the gaming systems. You were at the park. You were outside. These kids were outside.
Right.
You was outside. Right now, they just inside. And if you ask them to go outside, and if you ask the kids now to go outside, they ask you, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What happened?
Feel penalized.
They feel penalized. But when I grew up, if you say stay inside, it's like, what did I do? But anyway, it really is a coming home. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy wearing sneakers to work.
Oh, I know that's right.
Sweats to work some days. I enjoy that.
That is something. I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, congratulations. I just kept staring at her. I'm like, she must be like, this is what?
It's a treat. It's a treat.
I said she must have had so many emotions. Like, think about it, as a child, her dad, her husband, like, is so much involved. And then, like, do you feel pressure too?
You feel pressure because you want, I'm the first female to ever have this job. I'm the first African American to have this job. So your community wants to make sure that you are representing well, right? And that you're doing your job with excellence.
Right.
And they'll let you know that, which is fine. And I tell people some things it's not going to come like that. It's going to take time. And just give me a chance give me a chance to do it. Give me a chance to step into my role and to feel it out and see what will work and what won't work. And some things, if it's been working for many years and the community loves it, then that's fine.
Right.
That's great. But just trying to navigate all of that and working and to me, like one of the questions that were asked to me when I got the job, me being a social worker, how does that fit in to your role as superintendent of parks and recreation, right?
But social work to me fits in everywhere.
Everywhere, like you're yes, everywhere. You can find you can find relatable stuff anywhere with social work. And being in the park, just being in a short while that I have, you have the homeless population that's there. You have people who maybe home life is not that great where they are, so they come spend the time in the park with you during the day. You have kids. Just me speaking to staff, you have kids who don't have such a great home life, and this is why they're there. Or you see kids coming with their parents, enjoying the amenities of the park. I love to see that. I love to see the families coming with their kids, enjoying. And sometimes I'll stop and ask them, like, what do you like about the park? What do you don't like about the park? And they're able to give me insight as to what they like to see and what they love.
Love that.
Absolutely. So
I think that's so important that you said that, because I feel, or what I've seen a lot of times, not speaking about, the parks or, your position per se, but in general, sometimes people take on positions and they don't try to find out and go, not saying below, but going to the actual people that it affects to see what they think. They just make decisions that they feel it should be when they know nothing about the community or they know nothing about the people. Thank you so much for sharing that you do that.
Yes, and that's just special to me because people are like, oh, you try to come to everything on the weekends and stuff when I'm working, but I'm like, you forget that this is my community that I grew up in. So on the weekend, if there's an event, I see it like it's like a homecoming. People I haven't seen in years.
Right.
People I don't get a chance to speak to or see. This is like a treat.
That.
Yes.
It's a win-win, honey.
Absolutely.
Love that. Love that. And congratulations. I'm telling you, I was just too ecstatic when I saw that post. I said, wait, what? I was like, oh my goodness. I said, I know she's like, I don't know. God, you're amazing. Like, because how and wow.
Let me tell you, let me just drop a gem really quick. One of the reasons why I journal, and I have several journals. I have one for business. I have one for personal. I have really 3 journals going on simultaneously. But one of the journals that I love is a manifestation journal.
Boom.
I write my life how I would like to see it, right? Let's just say Okay, I'm sure you have your podcast, right? If I want to do a certain thing, right, I write it out as if I'm living it at this very moment. I write, thank you so much for this.
Somebody's on here right now.
Thank you so much for this. And I write it as if I'm already there. Not like, oh my goodness, I wish I get there. Like I come from a place where I don't and I doubt. Listen, these limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves that we can't, you putting us that fear will trap you. Yeah. But I write it out as if, and I'm telling you, when I say this past year has been, I can't describe it.
Come on.
But that's it. Even if I think, I'm like, even from the book to this right here, this right here was a thought August the 1st. I was divinely inspired to create it. Yeah. And this was, I had a prototype at the end of, it was designed already at the end of September. But I wrote it out as if, thank you so much for the journal. I love my journal because my journal is helping other women. It's helping people heal. It's help people, whatever, and that's how I live it. And if you could take that right there, if you are in a place in your life where you're like, oh, I can't see myself out of it. I can't see myself, whatever. Once you have, I'm firm believer of ask, believe, receive. Firm believer. You ask, right? But in the asking, you got to have faith in that you know. You got to know it. You can't ask and be like worried. You can't put the fear. You can't be like put the doubt because it's not going to come. Ask and believe that you know and all you have to do is just sit back and you receive it.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. You got to see it before you see it.
That's right.
And you got to do it scared.
That's it.
Period.
With do faith, it scared. That's
with
right.
With faith. But nervous and scared, but do it anyway.
You have to put the action. Yolanda. You have to put the action behind it.
Yeah.
That's one thing to think and to write it, but you have to put the action behind that thing. Come on. And watch that thing manifest. That's all.
That's the one. What you mean? That's all you have to say? That was everything. That was everything. This friend that you didn't know you needed. Okay, that's the friend that you didn't know you needed. Right there, the encouragement. Woo! She got all in my business. Woo!
Oh my goodness!
So the author, the superintendent of Parks and Recreation, the wife, the mom, the daughter, the friend you didn't know you had. Is that how you were found as the ambassador for?
Oh, the brown skin bruncheon. Yes. Oh, yes. So I love to meet. One of the things I love to do, I love to meet new people, right? And one of the things someone had told me about brown skin bruncheon, which is like a national brunch, if you will.
Can't wait to make one of the events. My schedule, I gotta get it together. Shout out to brown skin bruncheon.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So this is like just women getting together, and there has no agenda behind it. It's no formal program. It's just women getting together, going to brunch.
Right.
Having a nice time, having conversations. And that's one thing I like to do. Once I meet somebody, I love to tap in and see what makes them tick. You could make that connection and say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Or I learned that from that sister. Or, oh, okay, I can hang out with her later or whatever. Listen, it's never too late to have meaningful, positive friendships. Or just acquaintances, or associates, whatever you like to call you, whatever. But it's never too late to do that. Right. Even I'm 47, so it's never too late to form those bonds. And I was just in Dallas over the weekend, and I reached out to the local chapter there, and they just happened to have a brunch during that time. And I got a chance to tap into like 10 other women in the Dallas area.
Love it.
So when I come back, I'm like, oh, I can do this, we can do that.
Yes.
Whatever. Yes.
And just like that.
That's it.
And just like that.
That's it.
And now she's an ambassador.
That's it.
For brown skin bruncheon. Yes. Just like that. Listen, networking is life.
It's life.
You have to put yourself out there and create relationships. And if you know that, first of all, God is just doing it with divine connections. He's just connecting people and connecting things and bringing forth confirmation just in conversations. So you have to put yourself out there, especially when you're doing things like this. You have your journals, you have your book out there. So we have to start putting ourselves out there and connecting to people and not being afraid to do that.
That's it.
Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. That's okay.
That's okay. And you keep
Everybody
moving.
Don't buy.
That's right. And you keep moving.
It ain't nobody ever passed away from somebody not liking them. I promise you. It's going to be all right. But, it's okay to, get out there and do positive things. There is so much negative going on in the world, but there's so much positive going on as
Absolutely.
well.
And like I say, relationships between women sometimes can be viewed, especially about African American women of color. I'll say
Women
that.
of color.
You don't see, sometimes on media, you don't see the positivity that comes out of those, forming those type of relationships.
Right.
But just like you said, once you tap in and say, okay, this is a positive thing for me, you never know what may open.
Absolutely.
You'll never know what doors may open for yourself.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Love that. Miss Yolanda, listen, ma'am. When I tell you, I mean, for one, you was all in my business.
Yes.
I would say that. You was absolutely all in
That was
my
all
business.
the business.
But I knew that I was going to be inspired and encouraged to even continue to do what I'm doing. And just this whole conversation is why I know God has me doing this. This is not about me. This is about whoever comes here who's going to touch those out there, so those out there can heal, be educated, be encouraged, be inspired, and tap into whatever greatness that they're maybe stagnated in. They just may need a word from someone who looks like them or whose story is similar to theirs, so they can understand, if she got through this, then I gotta push. I gotta push. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you to your audience for listening. Thank you very much.
All right,
for the
one
invite.
more question.
Okay.
Because you don't hit me with because I like to read, and I was like, oh, excuse me. My guests who like to read and my guests who are authors, I always ask them, any books that you could think of that you feel like you guys got to read this book, or this book did this for me and it got me through this, or this book inspired me, or this book helped me with this. Any books for us?
Yes, I'll tell you what. A friend of mine wrote a book. She's from, not from Hempstead, but she spent some years in Hempstead, right?
Okay.
I believe the book is Move Forward. It's by Corinne Jean-Pierre. Corinne Jean-Pierre is our current. She is assistant to the president, and the person that you see, she is the White House press secretary.
Wow.
Okay. So Corinne comes from an immigrant family. Her family hails from Haiti, and she tells a story about her personal story, but she touches on being from an immigrant family, coming to the U.S. Her parents working hard as immigrant parents. I believe her mom was a nurse aide, and her father drove a taxi, and her coming up, raised in Long Island community, Queens community, Long Island community, and going forward. Not someone from prestige, not someone with the background. Right. This woman is the White House press secretary, and she lived here in Hempstead.
Right,
lived here in Hempstead, y'all. And it's just inspiring. She gave the graduation speech for the 2022 Hempstead High School graduating class.
Wow.
And just to sit there on the sidelines, on the lawn, as they rolled the tape, the video she did from the White House, encouraging young dreamers, young immigrant families, teenagers to say, listen, if I am here, you too can be also. And that's like so encouraging. That's one of my, it's called Move Forward by Corinne Jean-Pierre. She's the White House press secretary.
I even love the title.
Yes. I believe Move Forward. So if not, but
it don't have to be all dramatic.
Yes.
Just move forward. That just move forward. I love that.
That's it. Wow. That's it. So proud of her.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Move Forward. We gotta check that out. Yes. Where can we find your book?
My book, Shanti Safe Place, is on Amazon. I believe it's on Barnes & Noble, but Amazon is the way to go. You can purchase it there, and you can get your.
Is this self-published?
Mm-hmm. This is it was started to be self-published, but I went with a small publishing company out of Canada. Okay. Because trying to connect all the dots to put where it needs to go, where to go, I just didn't have the wherewithal. But the company took my idea. I had the book complete, and they put it all together.
Love it.
There you go. That's it.
And the journal will be
released soon. So if you check my social media, releasing soon.
Right.
Yes, releasing soon. So it's coming soon. I have it ready to go.
Let's go.
Ready to go. Yes.
Let me see it. So tell the people where they can find you.
Yes. On Instagram, I am Garnering Greatness. My maiden name is Garner. So Garnering, GARNERING, Greatness. And I'm a love on TikTok. If you find me on TikTok, I'm on the Yolanda Hutcherson. And I'm on, Facebook is just Yolanda Garner Hutcherson, but Instagram, TikTok.
All right. What's next for Miss Yolanda Garner Hutcherson?
Oh, another book.
All right.
For a boy. Because there are
right.
boys too who have gone through sexual abuse who may not want to move forward, like you mentioned.
Absolutely.
And a toddler book to explain like body parts in a fun way.
Okay.
You know, that's it.
Absolutely.
So
Listen, and if you know of anyone, or if you or someone in your environment, there is, I got to start putting these hotline numbers on my phone so I can remember to save them at the end of my episodes, because it keeps being laid on my heart to share the numbers. But there are hotlines for people who have been sexually abused. If you're having thoughts of suicidal thoughts and different things of that nature, there are hotlines to get you the help you need. Please utilize these hotlines. You can literally Google it and get these phone numbers to get yourself the help you need. Listen, Yolanda, thank you.
Thank you.
This blessed my heart.
I enjoyed this today. I don't know about y'all. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed it.
Me. This truly, truly blessed me. And I know that if I'm feeling how I'm feeling, that someone else out there. And I don't take it lightly that you took out time to come on this platform. Continue to pray for me as I pray for you.
Thank you.
Your boldness and what you are doing. I'm going to show you a message after we come off.
Okay.
This question is for you. Thank you to all those who came on the live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to How Michael Lady She podcast. Make sure you follow her on TikTok as well. If you have any questions about anything that we spoke about on today, please feel free to reach out to Yolanda. She's very approachable. What you see is what you get. So if she can't help you, I'm sure she will direct you to who can assist you or whatever questions that you do have. Don't not ask. Do not reach out to her for a question. There's no stupid question.
No stupid question.
Please,
any
sir,
question.
Please,
any
ma'am.
Question. Yes.
Please, if you have a question, do not hesitate to reach out. And just stay encouraged. Like we both kept saying, and we kept going back into basically seeing things before you see it. Protecting your space, creating boundaries so you can be the great person that you are. You can be that purpose-driven person that God created you to be. Any last words for us? Do you have a quote, a scripture, anything positive for us?
Oh, I do have a quote. And this is for the people who have dealt with some trauma. And I'm going to read this here. Okay. And this is by Oprah Winfrey. If you do not heal the wounds of your childhood, you bleed into the future. And that's by Oprah Winfrey. Yeah.
And we can absolutely close on that note. Once again, guys, Yolanda Garner Hutcherson of Hempstead, New York. And make sure you guys come visit our town.
Yes.
Okay, come visit the park.
Absolutely.
There's always events going on. Always events.
Yes. Stop by.
Anything going on this month?
We have some holiday movies coming up at the park. Yay. Some holiday movies, some activities. And I'm trying to do a teen vision board at the end of the month. So I love that. A teen vision board party. I think for them to see, just like I just said, we have to see it
before we see it.
That's it. Before you see it.
Mm-hmm. That's the one. I love that.
Yes.
A teen vision. Oh, please put that out. I think that'll be amazing.
Yes.
I got some teens just came to mind, so I can't wait. Okay. So tap it. There's a website.
Yes. We're on Instagram. I don't have my I believe it's the. Oh, don't get me to. I'm trying to think. It's the Village of Hempstead Parks. Okay. I believe the Village of Hempstead Parks. And of course, you can tap into the Village of Hempstead website.
Okay.
Incorporated Village of Hempstead.
Right.
Village of Hempstead
website. Yes. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes. Well, let's just keep it positive and keep it going, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Oh yeah, I think mine had died. Did it die or close? Yeah. Thank you.